What's good, everybody? Welcome back. This is Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford. I hope you guys are enjoying the week. If you're in a warm place, I am jealous. It is still brick cold in New York City. You think, Danny, after coming back from vacation, I would embrace being back home, but that's not the case. I still wish I was away. I wish I was away until May. With that being said, good to be back with you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you could do us a favor, please, can you subscribe, rate, review, follow, comment, all the good things that keep this show going. We very much do appreciate that. Before we get into the National Basketball Association, which means we'll talk about LeBron and the Lakers, and which means we'll talk about the Golden State Warriors adding Jimmy Butler, which also means that we'll tap into the Philadelphia 76ers. We might as well tap in with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Super Bowl. Danny, I had no dog in the fight. I really didn't. I just wanted to see a good game.
Yeah, honestly, we all did.
From the game to the halftime performance, probably one of the most underwhelming experiences I've had on the Super Bowl Sunday in the last decade.
So, including the halftime performance?
Yeah, including the halftime performance.
Interesting. Okay. Now, I think a lot of people were happy that Kansas City didn't win outside of Kansas City fans. I think that's the only group because they've won so much. But nobody wanted to see a spanking like that. You know what I'm saying? That was a true grade A ass whooping. Nobody wanted to see a boring game. But I think spurts of it was good. But I'm shocked that, a lot of people, it was 50-50. A lot of people loved the halftime show. A lot of people said we're a little disappointed. But I thought it was good, man. I enjoyed most of the game and the halftime show. So with the exception of some.
No, Danny, no. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. What did you enjoy about the game? There was nothing to enjoy about the game. It was non-competitive.
I mean, when you're rooting for a team, when they make big plays and good plays, that's exciting, bro. Devontae Smith, fellow pod guy, getting touchdowns. Jalen Hurts bouncing back. People talking all the trash about him, playing well. And Kansas City, obviously, I think Pat Mahomes is great. I think Travis Kelce's great. But eventually, these guys can't play great all the damn time. Obviously, you don't want to see them lay an egg. But you're like, okay, Philly's coming to play. Like, they're making some plays. Touchdowns, fumbles, interceptions. And you always – because Kansas City's always one of those teams, Pat Mahomes, you look at him as Tom Brady, like, there's always a chance you think he's going to come back. So there's only up until about the third quarter, you're like, all right, it's for sure over. Every other moment, you're like, Kansas City's going to turn this on and it's going to be a game. Like, y'all better give them some space. But for the most part, I enjoyed some of the plays that other guys made. Sweat doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Getting his little celebration off. So it was cool, man. And then the halftime show, like I said, Uncle Sam popping in. You know what I'm saying? K-Dot doing it for the culture, having the subliminal messages that we catch some in the moment, not all until after somebody has to break it down to us. But, man, it was super, dope to me. I liked it.
I can understand if you're rooting for the Eagles, there are moments to cheer. That is for sure. But by the third quarter, to your point, it was not a fun watch anymore. With that being said, we can focus on the halftime show. I don't know what it was, but Kendrick's presence on the actual microphone was mid. It felt like he wasn't even rapping into the microphone. I did not feel I saw all the imagery and I appreciated that, and I like the dancing, that the whole choreography. I like everything about the actual aesthetics of the performance.
Yeah, the whole American symbol, the flag, and all that other stuff.
I'm down with it, but he literally, it felt like he wasn't rapping into the microphone, or he's just not that great of a performer. And I'll say this, I don't see too many rappers who actually perform live, who actually can really rap into the microphone and have their breath and all that type of stuff and really feel like they're speaking to you through the microphone. Kendrick is not one of them. Now, you and I went to a Drake concert. Drake could put on a show. and you could feel his energy in the audio. I did not feel. I saw the energy from the dancing and all that, but I didn't feel Kendrick on top of the set list. Also, just not being. This is the Super Bowl, bro. Like it's the Super Bowl. Bring all of your hits.
We can't knock the person who was chosen. Everybody's looking for universal. Like, he has a couple of hits. Yes, he could have chosen, but he is who he is. What are we expecting different? He's going to provide a rap concert. People are like, oh, it's just a rap concert. He's a rapper. What do you expect? He's going to do cultural, that's what he does. He ain't Usher. He ain't Bruno Mars. He ain't Rihanna. He don't have his category, his catalog ain't diversified to where it's jumping over into pop songs. So how are you gonna be mad at the guy? Now I understand it didn't sound like he was mumbling something so I get that part of it. I couldn't hear it, but to me, everything that was happening was dope. Samuel Jackson was dope. The fact that he had the teasers in it, that he was talking to the crowd and talking to the changing up the words a little bit, changing up this was bigger to me than just rap. It was more about America, the culture, I would say the subliminals. But I thought he was dope. Now, I wasn't there in the building to feel the energy, so I don't know. I get the crowd noise just like everybody else on my TV. So the energy felt like it was dope it seemed like it, but they're like, oh, the crowd wasn't really into it like that. I've been to a Kendrick concert. He has pretty good stage presence and has put on a good show. So has Drake. They all put on great shows. And I'm not even a huge Kendrick fan. I'm more of a Baby Keem fan. So when I see them perform, Keem opens up for him. I get more hype for the opening, but I like Kendrick's artistry as well. He does a great job, puts the Mike Jack glove on, does some dancing, got some aesthetics, got some movie-like stuff going on. So I can't tell you what the energy was in the building, but overall, to me, I enjoyed it. I thought it was dope, man. And I understand what people are used to in the Super Bowl, but this is who they chose. You can't be mad at this is who Jay-Z and company and the committee chose. You can't expect him to just be something that he's not. This is who he is, and he did what he does. It's a good show.
He did what he does, and unfortunately, it wasn't good enough.
They chose that. So my question to you is,
and that's that.
And my question to you is, if they chose Wayne, would it have been better?
Yes, so? because Wayne had actual hits. He has crossed over enough.
You also have to perform those hits a certain way, though.
He has enough songs that will resonate with more people, so that everybody can feel it. He has catchier songs, and on top of that, he's from New Orleans, so you will probably get a residual type of impact from that as well. Yes. Now I know some people have highlighted some poor performances from Lil Wayne, but I'd have to give him the benefit of the doubt that for the Super Bowl he was showing. Again, I'm not blaming Kendrick. Kendrick did what he does, but what Kendrick does is not for the Super Bowl. Point blank.
You got to take that to the committee, my man. But yes, I agree. I think Wayne would have been dope. I thought he was going to bring out some of the hot boys, maybe. Either way, I thought it was a dope show. I think Wayne would have been dope too, but I can't say performance-wise if it would have been better. I think it would have matched the same. Obviously, he's from New Orleans. He might have got more crowd into it. He has more hits. Yes, he can diversify, but he has to perform those hits. And people have been criticizing his latest performances, so I don't know if it would have been better. But I think his hits would have hit better with the company. It would have hit better with the viewership, the people that are viewing, because he has pop. His catalog is very diverse.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on.
K-Dot is not that. So it's like, oh, you guys got him. He's of the moment type of person. So he's gonna do of the moment songs. Why would you knock him or blame him for it? These are the songs that he, that got him chosen.
I'm a little biased here too, because frankly, I'm done. I'm done with beef between him and Drake, because it's gotten to the point now where people don't act like Drake doesn't, or will not make hits. And I think, and I'm worried for hip hop.
It's silly,
I'm worried for hip hop that people are not going to listen to Drake going forward just because they don't like how he handled the beef.
That's
even
never
though as
happen.
An artist, I know, Danny, because there's people out there who are like, I'll give you a prime example. I'm not going to say no names. There are some people out there who don't like the game because they don't like the game, the person. I think Game makes some dope music, but
he makes
don't like
lyrics.
him as a person.
I understand, but you can deny Game because Game ain't on the radio like that. Drake is everywhere. There's no not hearing that man. He makes hits. Game's only thing is he's good lyrically, but his hits ain't clicking to the radio. It ain't clicking to the streams the same way.
And I think that's because people don't like him.
Drake. Maybe so. There's a lot of people that already dislike Drake beforehand, but you can't avoid him. That man is everywhere. He's going to make hits. Regardless of the beef, he didn't handle it how you might have liked it. Either way, he's still a great artist. He makes great music, and he's going to continue to do that. Now, this might have been a hit to his confidence or however he's acting. I don't know. Either way, he's going to do what he does, and I expect good music come from him. And I feel like everybody's going to hear it because they have no choice. I want to listen to it because I'm a fan, and it's going to be in the radios. You're not going to not hear that man. He's going to be streamed. He's still, Kendrick, top streamed artist like every month.
Yeah. No, hey, listen. I maybe I'm just ready for Drake to put out some new music because
we all are. We want to hear because it's like, yo, you hiding out too long. Nah, it's like, yo, get back to you.
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't heard music in a long time.
With P&D tomorrow, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's supposed to be Valentine's Day. Yeah. Listen, you dropped some music after. You dropped a 3-song album. People forget about it, and he dropped a couple music features mostly. But him and P&D, I said, I'm looking forward. He's going to continue to drop. But people are like, yo, you hide. Kendrick's got the stage for too long for some Drake fans. And they're like, yo, Drake, come back to life. Do what you do. That's what it is. It's time. Let's move on. Let's move on, fellas. A rap is over. The battle's over. The suing situation's weird. Let's just move on. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on. And with that being said, let's actually on to basketball. Last time we talked, you and I were both high on the Los Angeles Lakers. Not only did they trade for Luka Doncic, but at that time they had traded for Mark Williams. That it got rescinded last Saturday night because Mark Williams did not appear to pass the physical in which the Lakers had put him through. So now Mark Williams returns back to the Charlotte Hornets. Dalton Knecht returns back to the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers did pick up Alex Len on the buyout market. Danny, I want to be hopeful and optimistic for the Lakers. Mm-hmm. I can't be. After I watched them lose to the Utah Jazz last night.
It's one game.
The Utah Jazz are symbolic of the teams that we see in the NBA now, or that they was in the Western Conference. OKC has 2 7-footers. Alperen Sengun is an all-star. Nikola Jokic is a Hall of Famer. Rudy Gobert is still very much a big man on the interior. I could go through. I mean, if they end up in Anthony Davis and the Mavericks in the playoffs, that's going to be an issue too. We'll talk about Anthony Davis in a bit. But without reliable big men, there's just a clear and present way to beat the Lakers. And I don't care how talented Luka is or how talented LeBron is. If you have that big of a hole against, if everybody's operating at an A level, like the Nuggets are operating at A level for big men, and the Lakers are operating at a D level. They're just getting by. Like I always thought that and you've played on championship winning teams, like. How many championship winning teams were you on, Danny, that didn't have quality big men on the interior?
Not a damn one. Yeah. Not a damn one.
So what we talking about with the Lakers now? That's it. It's over. It's a wrap.
I'm with you. But even with Mark Williams, it was not a win now. The trade wasn't a win now situation for them to me. And Mark Williams is more reliable, but that's the guys that you listed, he's not gonna be stopping Jokic, Sengun, the 2 bigs in OKC. Like, he was reliable, it helped him, stay sustainable, but he wasn't a guy that was going to change them and make them ready to win now. And the biggest question is, can Luka and LeBron actually work together? Now, Luka is obviously ramping up with minutes and trying to get back in shape, and that calf injury. So he's not looking the same yet. He has to get comfortable, but I don't know. So we got to see how that works. They both do a lot of things. The ball's out of his hands. It's not his hand as much as it was in Dallas. So it's going to be an adjustment period for him. But yeah, without a big, it was never a win now situation, even with Mark Williams. And now for sure, definitely not. They're going to have to, make some moves for the summertime and figure it out for Luka. But they're talented. And they said it's one game. I'm not overreacting for the one win. and I'm not overreacting to the one loss. It's hard to beat a team twice back-to-back, but, they beat him the one game, then, Luka came back. So we'll see how it goes. We'll give him some time. Luka get back in shape. When he starts getting his minutes back up, then I'll start making a real evaluation or assessment of who they are. Right now, I have no idea. But it's Jackson Hayes, I give him a lot of credit. He looked a lot better, more energetic. The minutes that he is playing, nobody's giving him any credit. But he's by himself, and we know he's not going to be able to carry the load for 48 minutes. He can give you good locked-in minutes for about 20, 25 at most. He's just one of those guys that has to mature, really. So we'll see. But to me, it was never a win now. When the trade happened, it was never like, oh, they're ready to win right now. This was a long-term deal for Luka, branding, take over when LeBron is gone, and we have another LeBron that we can build around.
Yeah, that's for sure. And, I look at the Western Conference, and I say to myself, I don't think there's any team. Now, the betting markets are going to say differently, but I don't think there's any team that they should be favored over to be in a playoff series outside of the Kings. If that matchup ever would happen.
Yeah. Like, who would they favor?
They wouldn't beat the Grizzlies. They wouldn't be put it like this.
Houston,
they wouldn't be the favorites against OKC. They wouldn't be the favorites against Memphis. They wouldn't be the favorites over Houston. Be the favorites over the Clippers. They wouldn't be the favorites over Mavericks. I think they have a chance against Warriors and Kings. That's it.
Teams that are not in the playoffs. Teams that are barely in the playoffs.
Teams that are barely in the playoffs. They wouldn't have a chance. They wouldn't be favored. They shouldn't be favored against the Timberwolves. Mm-hmm. Nah, I don't see. Will they be a fun watch? Hell yeah. But
as it stands, no, they're not. They're not. To me, it's a future thing. So, we'll see. I'll give them some more time together. I want to see how Luka and Bron actually, because him, AR, all three of them, they need the ball in their hands. Obviously, it frees open looks for other guys. But AR is a guy, he can catch and shoot, but he's more of a guy that does off the bounce. He does it off pick and roll. So it's going to affect him as well. We're going to see.
I think I don't think they'll have any problem scoring. It's going to be tough when you're taking the ball out of the hoop every possession or you're giving up offensive every possession. It's not going to be fun for them. But I can see it being frustrating. With that being said, let's move on to where it could also be, and that is for Dallas Mavericks fans. Even though they got 42 points from Kyrie Irving last night, who was cooking up, we will forgive you for not having any assists with the way that you were last night. My goodness, was Kyrie on fire. With that being said, been a whole lot of drama in Dallas recently. Obviously, Anthony Davis made his debut and it out to a great start, but unfortunately got hurt. And now it looks like he'll be out multiple weeks with a adductor strain injury, and we'll have to see what type of form he's back in. And to make the matters worse, Derek Lively is out, Daniel Gafford is out, even their backup to the backup to the backup, and Dwight Powell is out. So tough sledding for the Dallas Mavericks, and what makes matters worse, there are fans in the arena who have let it be known that they're not happy about the Luka Doncic trade, to the point where fans have had to get escorted out. They've had their signs taken away from them. It's been a lot going on in Dallas. Do you think, Danny, that they can survive? How long, but put it like this. Will they be the play-in team?
The way it's looking, probably. They need to. I think that with Kyrie, how explosive he is, they can. It depends on the strength of schedule. Can they withstand and stay afloat? I think possibly. But realistically, it's looking like playing. But if they get healthy, by the end of this month or within a month, the start of March, that'll be good. So they got a month to get healthy. And I see it's frustrating. J. Kidd is not taking interviews after the game. It's because this is a win-now situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a win-now situation. So you can see the frustration. People in the arena saying, fire Nico. Like, there's a lot of extra stuff going on. And a lot of people are saying speculation from the top. This is above Nico, and this is why this call was made with the owner's comments of Luka as of late since the trade. So Yeah, I mean, it's a win now situation. They're frustrated. They're a little nervous. They know how much is weighed on this. Now, if you win your first 5 games, AD came out balling. Now, if he stayed healthy for the first week, balling, people would say, you know what, this trade makes sense. Because as soon as you get him right away, he gets hurt. And it's like, damn, you guys traded away Luka because of injuries and condition. But this guy, as soon as we get him,
exactly,
he gets hurt. But he's good enough to change the whole organization and that look with all their big men in that front. But we're not going to see that for a while. And hopefully this abductor is not something serious. I said I had a stidus pubis before with a groin, and it can get worse. Hopefully it's not that serious, but it's going to take a couple weeks for him to get back to normal. And he has to have the proper training, treatment, rehab. But if he can get right by early March, I think Dallas could be the team that they end up playing OKC. They end up playing Houston, Memphis. They're going to knock them. You know what I'm saying? They're going to upset that 2-3 seed for sure.
I think Max Christie on the roster, very underrated pickup. He's
been hooping.
Fit with them.
He's been hooping.
Yeah. Lakers for sure. Lakers would like to have him. With that being said,
I think it's a new fresh environment he's been playing. I think it's better because of the fresh environment. It's different in Lakers. He played well in Lakerland, but I think him being out of it helped him be a little more fresher. It's crazy that he's not. For the life of me, to what Clay said, I thought he was always Doug Christie's son. I thought the twins were his kids.
Word.
I'm shocked that he's not. No relation. But I thought he was in California. His dad's not far, as close. You know what I'm saying? I thought, there's a lot of pressure in the LA, but being in Dallas is a lot. The lights are a little bit different, magnifying glass. He's playing free. He's, less expectation. He's hooping. So it's a different Max Christie I think we're seeing than we saw in LA.
I want to move on to Joel Embiid and the 76ers, but we'll do that in just a moment. First, though, AD deciding or wanting to be a 4, right, and wanting to play alongside Derek Lively, right, and Daniel Gafford. It's making me think, Danny, I think we're seeing a shift in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
First, it was small ball 5, and then your 4 is a small forward playing up, right? And now I think we're starting to see more and more teams are trying to actually play 2 bigs. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. What AD wants to do now. Even if you go to Boston with Joe Mazzulla, right? I think when I've been watching them this year, he seems intent on starting Horford and Porzingis and making Tatum the 3 and Brown 2. Obviously, because when you have injuries to Jrue Holiday, make sure you change your lineup. But even still, he seems very content with going big at the 4 and the 5. What are your thoughts on maybe the NBA shifting again to play big?
I think it's very temporary. As long as Jokic is around, you're gonna have to play. You're just gonna, once he's gone, it's gonna be a shift again. Unless there's another Jokic that comes around, or if Joel Embiid's healthy, they found out the only way to stop those guys, or Jokic mainly, is to have a big guard in him and another big behind him because of Aaron Gordon's lob threat and his passing ability. And you able to switch off, so you need 2 bigs to guard him. Ultimately, Cleveland just has 2 really good bigs. That's, other teams have 2 really good bigs. I think it's just matchups. I think Joe does the 2 bigs when they maybe playing the Knicks with Cat. When you have Karl in town, certain lineups. You play Philly, you play the Knicks.
Because Cat is probably going to start playing with Mitchell Robinson when he comes back.
Possibly. So it's all about matchups and lineups. And I think that's only happening because that man, Nikola Jokic, is the LeBron of big men and could be getting his 4th MVP this year. Shea's been killing too. But the way he's going, I think it's a phase that'll last for probably as long as he's in the league, and then it'll change again in another 5 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, when we come back on Inside the Green Room, we'll get some insight on what the Philadelphia 76ers should be doing with Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey. It has not been a fun year for the Philadelphia 76ers. Be right back. Welcome back to Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford, and
Sure.
we got to talk about him. Danny, it's time. We all know the 76ers have a Joel Embiid problem. That's it, right? You signed him to a contract extension this past offseason. He recently revealed to Lisa Salters that in order to get back to really where he wants to be, he's probably going to require another surgery. Not good at all, especially when you sign Paul George to a 5-year contract during the offseason. Here's where I think the Sixers have a problem, Danny.
Was it 5 years or 4 years?
It's not that 4 years. Well, yeah, the 4-year deal. Yeah. He was only able to get 3 from the Clippers. Here's the issue. They signed Paul George to be the stopgap, to be the Joel can't play the next 5 games. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to kind of hold down the fort while Joel is gone. But Paul George, far from that. Let me tell you some stats here. Paul George, for the Sixers this year, 16.1 points per game, his worst in 10 years. 84% true shooting mark. 24% usage rate, his lowest since 2012-2013. His PER, his player efficiency rating, his worst since his rookie season at 14.7. We know they have a Joel Embiid problem, but they got a Paul George problem too. If he can't hold it down when Joel is gone, then what was the purpose of bringing him in? Because that was the purpose. The purpose was, when we have them all together, we can win a championship. In order to have a respectable record, a respectable team throughout the course of the regular season, we're going to need Paul George to pick up the pieces when Joel's not around. He's not picking up the pieces when Joel's not around. He is not proving worth his value. If his only value is it only matters when Joel Embiid on the court, then he wasn't worth the investment. Point blank, period. They have a Joel Embiid problem. They have a Paul George problem. And I don't know how they fix it.
Honestly, I think Tyrese is more the guy supposed to hold. He's supposed to be alongside.
Tyrese. It's supposed to. Tyrese is doing his thing.
Yes.
I'm talking about.
But they were both out the other day. I'm with you. So the reason why the thing that's going viral now is PG's numbers the other night when they both sat out. And basketball, listen, before I give this, I'm always going to side with PG. I'm biased. He's always been a great competitor. My guy always had my back, and we spoke highly of him, vice versa, and had mental health things through the bubble, all that type of thing. He knows at this point in his career, and everybody else knows, the Clippers knew, he's not at this point in his career where he's going to be that guy. So he's supposed to be the running mate alongside the two main guys. When those 2 main guys are on the floor, he does not have he's not the same guy to take over or lead your team. Now, mind you, yes, he had 2 points. He could have been more aggressive, got to free throw line, done better. But the game, they didn't have many. They get out rebounded all the time. They don't have a lot of possessions, and 2 other guys had it rolling. So at that juncture, he's taking a backseat to Kelly Oubre, Quentin Grimes, who was scoring well. Could he have done more? Yes. But for you to have the expectation of him to be that guy, that's not who he is. And I'm sure he'll be the first to tell you, I'm not the same guy. His usage rate is a lot lower. He's there to be the shooter, spread the floor, do some pick and roll here and there. Second unit, keep it stabilized. But taking over games, leading the team, and trying to win games without his 2 other stars, that's not happening anymore for him.
Danny, and I'm sure Sixers fans feel this way. He's another iteration of Tobias Harris. And there's nothing wrong with Tobias Harris when you're paying Tobias Harris $15 to $20 million. But when you're paying Paul George over $50 million, you have certain requirements of output. You're not $50 million to be the final piece of a big 3. You get $50 million because sometimes you can carry the team. That salary level, when you get to that level, there's just it doesn't matter how you're supposed to actually fit. And yes, it does matter how you fit, but you're supposed to have certain capabilities when you get paid a certain amount of money.
For sure. And a lot of it is what people
George, they don't want him to do it every game, which is which is lucky for him, because usually when you get $50 million, they want you to be an all-star performer every game. He doesn't have to be that. He just has to be an all-star performer once a week when Joel's out.
Joel's out a lot, by the way, this year. He's going to need surgery.
Of course.
So he's going to do a lot more than once a week. I'm with you on that, and I think this gets misconstrued a lot as well. The contract with versus the player. A lot of these contracts, yes, there's expectations when it comes with it. But a lot of people, these contracts are what these guys, their resume, what they're owed, what they've built, what they've already done. There are some that are based on potential. They didn't pay him because of his potential. Like, oh, we know potentially he's going to be that. No, this is what he's done. This is what his price tag is worth because he's a this many time All-Star. He's a this many All-NBA player. So we got this guy because of what he's done and what he's capable. He's capable of doing some good things still, but a lot of it is resume. And a lot of times fans and people on the outside misconstrue that. And I get that. Listen, he's getting paid a lot of money, so he should be bringing more. But it's like, they didn't pay him because of the potential of what he's supposed to be. They paid him off what he is and what he was.
I understand that he was able to, for lack of a better phrase, take advantage of the marketplace. I understand that, and for him. But now there's going to come a burden that comes with that.
Same with Tobias. Tobias took advantage of the marketplace.
And for Tobias, he unfortunately got the brunt of. He got a lot of criticism because of it. It's just the name of the game. And so now Paul George is going to get criticism. That's just it. You got the bag. Now take the blame. That's all. And I'm sure he's okay with it because he gets back. That's just the reality of the situation. I'm not. Danny. Paul George should be an all-star. Do you recognize that Giannis Antetokounmpo got ruled out of the All-Star game because of injury, and nobody even thought of Paul George? That's not good. Like that's an indictment on where he like. Okay, maybe you're not.
But there's other people there.
Maybe you're not an All-Star starter anymore.
Tyrese,
reserve. But you're not even considered as an alternate?
Tyrese should have been. Tyrese should be considered. He's a third guy on the team. Most third guys on teams are not considered.
He's not the third guy because Joel's not around. He's the second guy.
Well,
Tyrese Maxey and Paul George should be good enough to not be at the bottom of the play-in. Yes, does it suck that Joel Embiid is not around? Of course. And with Joel Embiid, those three have the chance of being a finals contender without a doubt. There's no questioning that. My whole point is, at some point, Paul George and Tyrese Maxey should be enough to be comfortably
to win some games
in the 16. Yeah.
To win some games. I don't know about 6, but yes, they could be in the top 10. They could be in the top.
Come on now. No, come on, yo. No.
But I said, granted, at this part of his career, this age in his career, he's not considered to be like he came in to be the third guy, not all-star.
For sure.
I'm with you. But Tyrese could have been. But yes, Giannis was out. Who else? Trey took over. Somebody else's spot. AD was hurt. Somebody else I feel like was out. But there's so many other guys that consideration in the East.
So producer James sent us a message here saying that Shams just reported on NBA Today that Paul George has been getting injections in his knee just to play. That he's gotten these in about 4 or 5 games this season. So now I'm taking another step back, Danny.
Is this weird that it's reported after the performance, or?
We're not the biggest fan of that for a multitude of reasons. Because some people might be like, "Oh, now here comes the excuse." Also, too, like the NBA goes hand in hand with the betting markets. That's something that should be reported, right? Because there are people who are wagering actual money.
Philly's not reporting any. Like they didn't know Philly. They wouldn't even tell when Joe. So I mean, ultimately, you want to keep it in house. So I'm okay with that. with certain things. You don't need all details being said, but said he's under certain that you can give vague reasons of why Joel is not playing, but say he's unhealthy, or PG is not at his strongest because he's, he has an issue with this. These things can come out beforehand.
You gotta report. You gotta report the injury. This is not football where if you have a bad knee, people are gonna go after your knee. You gotta report the injuries.
Yeah.
The NBA is making too much money being affiliated and promoting betting. And when people bet, they bet on player props. It's not fair. It's like it's an actual disservice to the NBA consumer because they're shoving betting down your throat. At least give us the information that we need to make wagers that we feel confident in. I'm telling you, it's going to get real nasty if they don't tighten up. It just is. It just is. Now,
with that being said, go ahead.
I'm gonna take one more step back. Paul George getting knee injections. Joel Embiid saying that he might need another surgery in order to really feel like himself. At what point, and I'm sure this Sixers fans feel like this, not just shut it down, Danny, give up on this iteration of the Sixers. Pack it up.
Wow.
We got Tyrese Maxey. We got Jared McCain. We can mess around and potentially get a top pick in the draft if we tank right. Why? Here's the thing that's going to suck if you're a Sixers fan. Again, lucky the Eagles won. What happens? We finally get the joy and happiness of seeing Joel Embiid actually play more games during the season. Paul George plays games season. And then they get hurt again. Like, what probability do you actually give the Sixers of winning a championship, even if they are healthy?
That's a good question, H. And, some of the comments I made on Run It Back the other day in FanDuel, like it was new news. It's not new news. I think everybody's thinking, everybody's seeing it. Like, at what point do we kind of shut it down? I don't know about give up on this iteration just yet, because when Joel Embiid's a health, if you give him some time to relax, he shouldn't have played this summer probably. Should have took that time off. But if you give him some time,
he shouldn't have played against Knicks last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I said give him time healthy. He's playing at MVP caliber level. You have a chance. With him and Tyrese is great. PG gives you another guy that can shoot and score from the perimeter, another look. So I wouldn't give up on the iteration. But what I said last week or a couple of days ago is not new news. I think it's time. Everybody's seeing it. That, maybe they should just this season try to see if they can get that top 6 protected pick best way you can and get these guys healthy, right? The only way to give yourself the best shot, give them the rest of the year, summer, everything. You're not allowed to play for your country. You're not allowed to do this summer. You guys just train here, work out together, and stay healthy off your feet. But yes, that's just, I don't know when you call that or what point you give that up, but the whole iteration of that group, I'd say I would wait until end of next year. It may be too late at that point.
I'll say this: if I'm running things and I mess around and get a top pick, and let's say I mess around and get what's the old boy who's at Duke that everybody's clamoring over?
Cooper Flag.
Yeah, if I get Cooper Flag some way somehow. It's Cooper Flag and Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. Everybody else can go. Because I can pitch that to
Ace Bailey.
The fan.
I think it's Cooper or Ace Bailey.
Or Ace Bailey. I low-key think that even Dylan Harper, even though he's a ball handler, could work.
I like Dylan a lot, but I just don't think he mixes with Tyrese and Jared McCain. Like, you don't need another one of them. He's very similar to them. He does what they do. You know what I'm saying? So you got Jared, you got Tyrese.
Or you take advantage of whatever. If they end up in the top 6, they're going to end up in a very good spot.
Yeah.
And at that point,
use them as trade bait.
Man, I don't know if you use them as trade bait, but you would not be. Listen, this offseason, Kevin Durant is going to be on the market. If Kevin Durant can be on the market, so can Paul George. So can Joel Embiid. Luka Doncic just got traded. Nobody's safe.
Yeah. the Don.
That's that. That's that. Nobody there should feel safe either.
With that being said, man, I hope PG gets right. I hope Joel gets right. I want to see the Sixers get back to. I want to see a healthy version of this iteration. Course. You know what I'm saying? And I know PG's hearing the criticism right now. Block out the noise, man. Do what you do. You guys, what's in that locker room? What Nick Nurse is telling you to do. The other guys play well, but so that's a game that you got to try to figure out a way to win against the Nets. Close game, but they lost a lot of close ones. But I'm sure he'll bounce back and play better. But he needs help. He's not a guy to do this by himself anymore. He needs Tyrese on that floor with him at least. One of those two had to be on the floor with him at all times. Or just at least sharing the court for that game. Him being in a game by himself is not for him right now.
Last thing before we go, I have a correction from last week. I was wrong about the Warriors. After watching them,
still don't have Kuminga back yet, though, bro.
Oh yeah, right.
It's very different. You have all three of them together, so it's just Jimmy. Jimmy's taking more of Draymond's role, but yes, they are looking very good. But there's no Kuminga right now.
Yeah,
Jimmy's giving him a different look. He's getting to that free throw line.
Yeah, I fear you're right. I do. They're playing with a certain level of intensity, and it's allowing Steph. Like there was a period during the season where Steph couldn't. It's not even just rest. Steph couldn't even get shots up because there was just so much attention just solely on him. With Draymond and Jimmy, they've unlocked some packages where Steph can get clean looks finally.
That's where Kuminga will help as well. Right. Another threat, but all three guys that aren't shooting, but. The fact that Jimmy put so much pressure on the rim to the free throw line, get over here. Sorry. It just opens up a lot for Steph and everyone else. Nuke.
Yeah, no, I'm a lot higher on them than I was. With that being said, so Danny, let's just do some predictions real quick. Slam dunk competition, who do you think wins?
I like Stephen Castle, man. I like Castle. I think he's very explosive, smaller guard. A lot of bounce. I think he's going to be the favorite for me.
Let's see who's actually participating in this year's competition. It's going to be Matas Buzelis, Stefan Castle, Andre Jackson Jr., and Mac McClung. I'm gonna tell you this right now. There's no shade to Mac McClung. I'll be damned if he wins again, y'all. Like this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous if he wins again, right? I'm with you. I think Stefan Castle has a great bounce is stupid, but don't sleep on Buzelis, bro. I think the Bulls.
He's a big man. I think he's very good. But I think he's a big.
He's not a big man.
6'10". He's not going to look. He's
like 6'7". But he don't. I thought he's like 6'9", like 6'10".
Nah, he's like 6'9", 6'10".
Like a big man.
He doesn't. He got game to him, but I just think his dunks are not going to look as crazy because he's bigger personally.
Yeah, Castles are going to look crazy. Crazy, so he'll probably win that. All right, 3-point competition. Who you got?
Who's in it? I'm gonna go with
3-point competition this year.
I know who's in it.
Let's see.
I got.
Let's see who's in it.
I feel like is it Buddy Hield in there? I feel like who didn't make the All-Star that
all right,
put in 3?
Let's see here. Dame Lillard is gonna be in the 3-point competition. We also have
Malik Beasley.
My internet moving slow, bro.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. Of course, they put this there. Here we go. 3-point competition. Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Cam Johnson, Dame Lillard, Norm Powell. Who wins?
That's what they put Norm in there just because he didn't make an All-Star. I'm going with Cam Johnson, though.
Okay. Oh, is that just a North Carolina thing?
Gotta go with my Carolina, but he does shoot. To me, he's the more pure shooter. Him and Buddy are the more catch and shoot guys. Everybody else is a scorer. To me, scorers aren't they're never like great shooters to me. Dame's obviously been there and won before. Like he's good. It's not easy though to do that challenge. But the more pure shooter to me is Cam, like the catch and shoot guy.
I think Cam has a great chance. I know I'm gonna sound biased, but I'm gonna go with Jalen Brunson just because he doesn't levitate, he doesn't jump too high on his 3-point shots. Remember, You remember Cat won not too long ago, and Cat barely gets off the ground when he shoots.
I was gonna pick Norm, but Norm jumps too high on his threes too. I'm with you.
No, Norm be jumping high. Norm is going to tire out.
Yeah.
Norm be jumping for his threes.
That's the one mistake. I wish I didn't change my jump shot. I actually changed my shot to not jump, and I shot well, but it just looked funny as hell. I wish I didn't change it when I did the contest.
Last thing here on the actual All-Star game itself. We know the new format. There's 4 different teams. You have Shaq's team, Kenny's team, Chuck's team, then the Rising Stars versus the rookies, wherever that game is, will be the 4th team. When we do this pod next week, the All-Star game, All-Star weekend will be saved. Yes or no?
No. No.
No, man.
I'm sorry to pain in the back. It doesn't matter what format you do. If you don't have guys that care and actually want to play, it's not going to be saved or better. And only the players can do that. And I like the fact that Wemby said it's a business trip. I don't know how it's said. Spurs are the ones that invented load management and take care of your body. So I couldn't imagine they're letting him going to play major minutes or do anything in a very competitive level. So until that changes, the All-Star weekend is always going to be tough to watch.
Yeah, man. I'll be watching it even though I'm not the most optimistic. Oh, by the way, for those who are listening or watching the pod, I will be on ESPN Radio this weekend.
Nice.
Competition. And after the All-Star game on Sunday. So if you want to talk some more hoops, make sure to tune in then. With that being said, you guys know what time it is. Danny, tell them.
Read, rate, subscribe, review. Peace.